Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. I'm Jen Wilson, and I'm here at Leadership Lunch Chat with my good friend, Amy Vetter. Hey, Amy.
Hello. Happy Friday.
Happy to be here with you. We're going to talk today about maintaining proactivity during our peak periods of work. Proactivity, I think, in any period of work is hard. And, the Holy Grail or something of good time management is to get that little bit of important but not urgent work done every day or every week or every month. But when we are really in an avalanche of client work or, busy season, as we like to call it in the profession, it's super easy to blow off the proactive and the things that are going to help the firm be better, help our people be better, help us be better. It's easy to sort of put those things aside and, sort of worry about them tomorrow. I'll worry about them when busy season's over. And our experience watching folks in the profession is that we tend to sort of run like mad in the spring and busy season, like little hamsters on a wheel or something, very busy getting client work out, getting it out. And then we come off the wheel in April or May, and then we kind of stand there and we take a breather. We're like, from all that running, we're trying to like relax and get our lives back in order, maybe make amends at home if we, blew off some of the proactive and important home things. And then all of a sudden, boom, sucked back into the vortex of the hamster wheel, fall busy season. And then the same sort of resting period happens the end of October and early November. And there just isn't really the commitment to year round get better. And so Amy and I thought we better talk a little bit about that. I'm wondering if you want to pick it up from there, Amy, and we could just kind of go back and forth.
Yeah. So I think it's really important in any business that if you're a leader and really trying to make sure the business continues to move forward, that you figure out how to create space to work on the business and not just in it. And I know, as a business owner myself and Jen as a business owner, there's certain things you started the business because you just love to do it. You might love the client work. You might love the actual craft of why you created a business. However, as we become a leader, it is important we start lifting ourselves to empower the people around us to do that work. And we continue to move the business forward and have that vision. So we have to have an awareness of where we're pushing and when, and what's the most important times for us to work on the business versus others to work on the business. And when we're planning of making sure that we're looking at seasonality when we're trying to implement things into our business and plans and so forth. But working on our business shouldn't stop, and making sure that we are placing an importance on it, just like we would a client, a customer, whatever, whoever you serve, your stakeholders. It's just as important to keep that rolling.
Well, and, part of working on the business is usually an evolution of what we're doing for clients. It's not just, I don't know, improving business processes and enhancing our staff and their skills. It's also like thinking what's happening in the marketplace that's going to affect my clients. How can we anticipate that for them? What should we be doing to help clients with what's coming? How could we improve the services we offer? It goes beyond just, I think sometimes when people hear work on the business, they're picturing like, I don't know, improving our financial reporting or something. I don't know what they're picturing, but it does have the client impact. It can allow you to work on things that drew you to start the business in the first place. The big picture ideas of strategy and vision and where's this whole thing going, and taking time to do that, not just for your business, but for your clients' businesses is critical. Otherwise, all we're really doing is transactional work that doesn't transform anybody. And so taking that time to back up and really think, what is coming and how are we going to be prepared and how are we going to help our clients prepare? I think that's critical.
Yeah. And when you're coming up with those things, it's really important that you figure out what your priorities are and you're not overcommitting to too many things, especially at the wrong time or trying to push too fast. Change takes time, but you can celebrate the little wins along the way. And it's important that you recognize those wins as they're happening, because a lot of times, as we're moving through strategy and things we want to do in our business, we get excited. And then some other opportunity comes and we're like, oh, squirrel. And that shifts us. And so it's really important that we are prioritizing. And if something else comes our way, we're thinking about what we're going to say no to in order to be able to accomplish it. And a lot of times, I think, as we get into this, or if we are a really motivated leader to push change, we've got to really look at capacity and what people's capabilities are and workload in order to be able to accomplish those tasks and make sure that they get done and they don't feel like they're spread too thin and failing, because everyone wants to feel like they're succeeding as well. And so I think a lot of times we forget during these processes of change, and when we're implementing things that we're really excited about, there's hard weeks all the time of things that aren't going right or issues that happen that we see as we're implementing it. And it's important that we pause to recognize where we're at, what's working, what's not working, and what will we do different tomorrow.
And what could we push if we have to? What was impractical about our plan? What do we defer so that we are not feeling so overcommitted and like we're losing? And overcommitment isn't just like, let's not overcommit to too many proactive initiatives at once, which I think is a really critical thing. I think when we finally circle the wagons and go and do that strategic planning and really get together and talk through all the ideas we all have and all the cool things we could be doing, we tend to come out of there with like 5 big ideas or something. And 5 is too many. 3, 2, that's a lot. 2 or 3 big ideas to really tackle and make progress in the next 12 months. That's a whole lot. And it's funny because most of us, if we don't have the ideas that defined, we're like, yes, let's have just a few. But when we get in there and start sorting through them, it's like they're all our favorites and we can't say no. So we say 5, and then we try to put one of each of us on all 5, right? One owner and the small committees. And before you know it, we've grossly overcommitted our resources. There's no possible way we can progress. And it's better, I think, to try to take one big idea and put a little bit of resource behind it and show movement, get momentum, get enthusiasm, confidence even. Like, look, we can move something. And then consider maybe saying yes to a couple others.
And it's fine to do that as long as you're communicating when the next ones are coming. So it doesn't mean you have to give up on those ideas, but it's just being really, clear about when each, initiative is going to begin. It could be 6 months from now, it could be next year, but at least people know it's coming. I would say another thing that I see happen a lot is worrying too much about what your competitor's doing. And so the question all the time is, well, what are other people doing? And that really isn't going to push your firm forward. It's, just doing what the next door neighbor is doing versus really trying to figure out, when you hone in on a strategic issue, initiative in your business, that you're going deep into your business and make sure that you are eliciting ideas from the people that are a part of it, that are closest to your clients, that are closest to the people that you are working with, culturally as well, and making sure you get all those ideas surfacing rather than keep looking right and left and not looking forward.
Yes. Well, and I mean, I think that there are so many different ways to sort of assess and maintain that momentum. And I think part of what can happen when we're in the middle of these initiatives is sort of lacking communication, lacking meetings, lacking check-ins, too busy to meet, too busy to talk about it, too busy to look forward, too busy to, to project what's next. And so I think making time for talking is critical. And I don't mean like long meetings, but some sort of regular, what have you been hearing from your clients? Like, what are you hearing from the staff? And then how are these initiatives going? Or how is your initiative going? And how are you feeling about it? And is it coming along? And what support do you need? And just all these different conversations that we just don't make time for. I mean, I have to confess that my husband and I have noticed that we're having a hard time having proactive conversations, that we're doing a lot of transacting these days. Just sort of, it's almost like just trying to keep it running, because our jobs are both big, and our, kids and the responsibilities with aging parents. And so we'll find ourselves like sort of not proacting and not anticipating because we're not communicating.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big piece of it too.
Yeah. Well, and that can, when it trickles down into your personal life, we can take a lot of things for granted because we know those people care about us, and we can, show up the way that we show up because, they'll love us tomorrow. But to your point, this is why it is so important during busy times that not only are we focused on work, but we've got the boundaries to still focus on our personal lives, to not take that for granted, because it does create the energy in yourself that is contagious to the people around you. So if you're not feeding personally what you need, even if it's by yourself, doesn't have to be with another person, but being really proactive to give yourself space, because some of the best ideas come from just letting your mind release and giving yourself space. And too many times when we're busy, we just keep pushing through it, and our brains cannot get creative and innovative when we keep pushing at it. It needs the breaks. It needs the silence, which that can be the scariest thing, right? Is giving yourself silence. If you notice during these periods of time, you have way too many meetings on your calendar. What meetings can you start taking yourself out of? Who could take care of that meeting for you? Are you empowering the people around you so that you do have the space to continue to do what you do well? And, I find, I'm doing a mindfulness course right now with a group of people, and we had a whole discussion this week about, feeling all this pressure and stress. But a lot of times that pressure and stress, no one is putting that on you. we literally are thinking that, and we're not actually, really being realistic of, is someone actually upset with you or mad with you or think you're failing or not meeting it? And if you're feeling that way, how can you shift it? How can you communicate and let people know realistic timelines so that you're not feeling that way internally? Most people are running through their day just feeling so stressed out, not looking right or left. They don't really care whether, you're meeting a deadline or you're keeping up or that sort of thing. Like everyone's just focused on themselves. And then we all think everybody is thinking about us. It kind of reminds me of, running a yoga studio, and new people that walk into the yoga studio will always say, well, I don't want anyone to look at me. I might fall or I'm not flexible. And I'm like, so many people are worried about each other looking at them. No one's looking right or left. Like no one cares. Exactly. So just focus on your mat. And it's really the same thing, during this time is how we create that space. So we do make sure, are our thoughts true? Are we spending the right amount of time, and balancing between work and our career to make sure that we're putting out the right energy?
Yeah. Well, and I was just thinking, you said so many things there that are so real for me all the time. And, and And one of them is, we are our own worst critic, so we think we have to say yes. That's the first mistake.
Mhm.
Overcommitment comes from this self expectation or something. So that's the first place to start setting boundaries is more no's. Say no. And you can say no by saying yes. You can say, yes, I can help you, but not now. Yes, I can help you, but not until next week. Yes, I can help you, but it won't be me. It'll be my partner, so and so. It doesn't all have to be no. Most of us don't like that word. We think that that's, a bad look or something. But actually, a no is not a bad look if it's real. A fake yes is a worse look, probably over time in terms of trust. And so, anyway, no at the beginning. And then, like, really, all of this beating yourself up, not giving yourself grace, not, recognizing that whatever you're thinking needs to be done, if no one else is thinking that, then why are you running it like a madman inside your head or madwoman inside your head and beating yourself up for it? Just reset your own expectations sometimes is required, I think, just to say, wait a minute, this is not a priority right now. And it's not, you don't even need to tell anybody else. You tell yourself because it was your own over expectation, over self expectation or something.
Yes. Yeah. And it's the whole piece with overcommitting or looking at your competitor or whatever it is. And even if that means you as a person doing the work, a lot of times we don't delegate because we think someone will think less of us when we actually can accomplish more when we think of it as a team and a collaboration and being really realistic of what we can handle and what we can't. If we are taking on too much, it doesn't necessarily help us in the end to be successful. And we're usually better with a team than not. But in order to create that collaboration, we have to trust the people around us and give them the time that they need to learn. And so it's the same thing about giving space to ourselves. If we're going to lead people through strategy or initiatives or things that we want help with, we have to make sure we're actually putting time on our calendars to work with those people so that they know what to do. They feel confident in leading it and know how to check back in with you as well. And the problem is a lot of times we don't communicate. We throw things over the fence and then that person might not live up to whatever expectation you have, but it wasn't clearly communicated what the expectation was and whether it could be accomplished in that time period. And so when we're trying to look at what can we actually handle versus overcommit, it takes conversations with people and space on your calendar to have those conversations as well.
Well, yeah, to map it out, maybe,
Yes.
like put some detail around it so you could size it. And then also when you are delegating it, which is a very wonderful and viable way of not overcommitting and developing others, and a whole bunch of other wonderful things come from delegation, proper leverage, probably make more money ultimately as an organization with more delegation. You still have to coach and mentor and assist. And there's no time to do that if all you do is throw it over the fence, to use your phrase, and then pile yourself up so deeply and so significantly that you don't have any time to mentor or develop or answer questions or support or assist or review or any of those things. So these are all challenges that we face. And I think you and I some people could be listening to this and thinking, I know these things, but knowing's not the same as doing them. And you might not shift and do all these things that we've just mentioned today, but just one of them. Just, even if it was just making space for self or that silence that Amy talked about, or just saying no to the next thing that comes up that feels like it's really going to pinch, just to say no, not now. No, we can't do that. No, this doesn't fit with our schedule or our plans. There's some power in that. Just take a little bit of empowerment back. Don't be such a victim and make some room.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
yeah. Anyway, those are our thoughts on overcommitting and proacting a little bit during your peak periods. And I know I myself need to take a few of these things immediately when we hang up the phone and start working on them. So, I really appreciate processing ideas with you, Amy. So grateful and blessed to do it. And thanks to everybody who comes to Leadership Lunch Chat or listens to it after the fact. We appreciate you. We'd love to talk about topics that are concerning you. So please keep your ideas coming to Amy and I in either social or when we see you at conferences and things. We love hearing about your ideas. So thanks so much, everybody. Have a great rest of your week and weekend.